Lumos. Hi, and welcome to the Portkey Adventures. I'm Gita, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I learned recently that there are tons of things that I thought were magical about Hogwarts that are totally normal for UK Muggle schools. So I decided to reach out to my friend Mark from Zealman Plays Portkey Adventures, and I asked him if he would mind helping me answer these questions as he grew up in the UK. So I am going to be asking him questions, and then I'm going to cut in his answers throughout this video. So I don't know the answers that he's going to say quite yet, so this should be interesting to edit, but it should also be really, really fun, because a lot of this stuff I was just like, wait, what? Are you kidding me? That's a real thing? That's not something that J.K. Rowling made up? Just a quick note, some of these I already knew, some of these I figured out recently while watching different channels or just talking to people or watching different British movies. So for those questions, I'm more asking to elaborate and to let you guys know, just in case there are some of you that were like me, growing up thinking that a lot of this was just made up. So Mark, I heard that Prefix and head girls / head boy were actually a real thing. Could you elaborate on that?
Hi Gita, yes, head boys, head girls and prefects are real things here. More so in the private schools, and I think in the public schools it's starting to come back. I think that Harry Potter kind of inspired people. It's become more of the fashion now. I saw a Facebook post just the beginning of the term actually of a friend of mine, and her daughter was a prefect at I think it's like a middle school, which I'll explain later. And the badge is exactly the same as it is in Harry Potter. It's quite cool.
Alright, here's another question, just out of curiosity. Do you call all of your teachers professors, or is that specific to Hogwarts?
This one is, I'm afraid, a bit more of a Hogwarts only thing. The public schools and the private schools I know of are kind of Sir, Miss and Mrs. But if you do go to university, that does become professor and doctor.
Next question. Is 11 to 17 a normal age group for certain schools in the UK?
So this one's a bit more of a complicated answer. The UK is kind of split up into smaller areas, some like Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire, and these are like small versions of states. So these have councils, and they can kind of set how things work, like the schools. So in this image you can see there are 3 ways of structuring the schools. So the bottom one is a first school, middle school and upper school. The mid one is an infant, junior and secondary, and the top one is primary and secondary. Now where you see that secondary school is actually the exact Hogwarts range. So year 7 you start that at age 11, and year 13 you'll finish that at 18, you'll begin that year at 17. My situation was a bit more complicated because I started off in a 3-tier system. So I had first, middle and upper as my original one, but because I was on the border between 2 counties, I then transferred halfway through the middle school to my secondary school. I have to keep looking at my notes because I keep forgetting what the picture looks like. So as a side note, there's a parallel between owls and newts and the actual qualifications that we do here. So up to the end of year 11, you'll be working on what's called GCSEs here. That is exactly the same as an owl in Harry Potter, as in you complete it to the same age. If you do well in your owls, or GCSEs, you can then do A-levels, which are newts in the world of Harry Potter. And it works exactly the same way. For example, with Snape's lessons, when Harry couldn't get in because his owls weren't good enough, the same thing here. If you don't do very well in certain GCSE classes, mainly languages, you will not be able to do it at A-level.
So I know you taught me recently that houses are a real thing in public schools, which to me is mind-blowing. How are you separated into those houses? Is it from personalities like at Hogwarts? Is it something totally different? And then are you guys grouped together for everything? Do you have to go eat together and at the same table? Do you have to go to every class together? I have a lot of questions.
So my secondary school had 4 houses. One was called Gorst, Pearsall, Howard and Neville. I was in Neville. As far as I can tell, unless my parents organised something secretly otherwise, it's completely random which house you get put into. These houses are named after important people sort of in the town where the school is. Each house is looked after by a member of staff, and also have a house captain. These are the equivalent to a head boy or a head girl. So just like in Hogwarts, these houses will compete against each other, mainly on sports days for athletics and stuff like that. They also have Christmas and summer competitions. So as you go through the year, you're awarded merit points. This is for good effort, community service and effective learning. At the end of the year, these points are added up and the house with the most points wins the house competition. I don't think they have a house cup though. The school will split up into zones. Each one of these zones belonged to one of the houses. Each zone had like a common area where you could meet and had like computers and stuff there, and then had classrooms around the outside. In the morning we'd meet for register in a classroom assigned for us in our house, and those students would be our former students. Eating was a bit more liberal. It was kind of a free-for-all for that. People tend to hang around in their houses though, because that's generally their friendship groups. So it's kind of informally in their houses. My middle school also had 4 houses. There was Carters, Thatchers, Foresters and Saddlers. These were named after professions of the time.
So, with those houses, do you guys have any natural rivalries? Like, did you arrive at school and then get sorted into whatever house, and then everybody tells you, oh, by the way, we hate this other house, you have to hate them too?
So competition between the houses was not quite at the same extent as it was in Harry Potter, as we're not really split up by our personality types. So you will find the first person who wins the first sports day, they tend to become the ones that everyone goes against.
How common are boarding schools over there? I really haven't heard of anybody going to a boarding school in the US, so I'm not sure how common they are, how popular they are. So how popular is it? How many are there? And yeah, just is it common to go to a boarding school in the UK?
Okay, so this is the hardest question, as I had to Google it. And the level of people going to boarding school is normal to me. And to be fair, I don't know really anyone that's gone to a boarding school and boarded there. I know people have gone to a boarding school and commuted there, so they didn't really board there, but it had boarding in it. So 6.5% of students actually go to a boarding school. Again, not necessarily all of them actually stay there and live there. Some live at home.
So for those kids that do go to boarding school, do they pack up trunks? Are trunks totally a normal thing?
This one surprised even me. Because when I looked at it, I thought, nah, no one uses trunks nowadays. They must all have wardrobes and whatever. But no, they actually do. I don't know if it's become more popular lately, but they have these things called tuck boxes, which are there and look just like a Hogwarts trunk. So it doesn't have wheels, so it's kind of like a permanent storage thing, and people use suitcases to bring their stuff to school.
Alright, so this is one that I've actually known for a few years, but I'm wondering how common it is. I heard that naming your house like the Burrow and the Leaky Cauldron are completely a normal thing. That you look it up and you make sure nobody else has your house name and you actually get it registered. This was really, really crazy for me to learn when I did. So now I'm wondering, how common is it? Do a lot of people do that? And when it's registered, can you just type the house name into Google Maps, or do you still have to know people's addresses?
So this one's not very common in terms of modern day housing. I live on a new estate and rural numbers. Some people do put like names next to their numbers but don't register them. But yeah, you can actually officially register that name and it will be stored on like the Royal Mail database. But you will always have that house number. So I've seen it most common with like large country houses, much like Shell Cottage isn't really big. But yeah, outside like in the middle of nowhere type houses, because imagine being a postman and like having 50 houses and all have different names. That could be mental.
Alright, now for my last question. How common is it to still see a telephone booth in downtown London? And do you think that ministry workers are still using that as one of the entrances to get into the Ministry of Magic?
So yes, there are many phone booths still in London, though none of them actually technically work. A lot have been converted. So some are libraries, as in like community libraries, so people who like take a book, leave a book type things. Some are used for defibrillators, and some have like Wi-Fi charging stations and stuff in them. So yeah, they'll use a variety of different things nowadays, but yeah, they're still around. As for the Ministry of Magic entrance, they seem to have moved it. It's not really there. It must be the Muggles trying to get in.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, for joining me and helping me answer all of these questions. I'm sure everybody is going to love it. Definitely let me know down below what was the most interesting thing that you learned today. And make sure to go check out Mark's channel. Make sure to go subscribe. He should have a collab up with us in it around the same time that I've got this up, if not before. So if it's up, I'll have it linked at the end of this video. And you know what to do. Until next time, use your magic wisely and keep an eye out for Dementors. Nox. Alright, so we have our first move from the community side. Maddie F. Baby said move the knight to A6. So here we go. That's you guys' move. I am going to move my pawn up 2 spaces. So just a refresher, if you want to play along, first person to comment gets to move the next piece, and I will show your comment in the next episode. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That's how we're playing, and good luck. Hope you guys can beat me.